JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 18th of December 2020, guys. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis, guys. So yep, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. So now then, a quick update on a few indices. So again, some of them I'm not going to spend too much on, some of them I'm not going to spend too much time on, because again, looking at Nikkei, for example, it closed kind of virtually unchanged, I would say. I mean, it didn't really go lower, but it couldn't still overcome this 26,890 level that I keep talking about already for a couple of weeks. So basically, yep, the same game plan remains, guys. I mean, we need that confirmation break and a daily close above the 26,890 zone in order to aim for some higher levels. And for the downside, I would prefer to see a drop below this 26,405 zone before considering lower areas. And by the way, I mean, because of the fact that we moved a little bit more sideways here and more to the right, you can see that the 21-day EMA kind of approached this hurdle here, and in a way that's how, I mean, that's it kind of, let's put it this way, that's why this level here could be an interesting one to watch, because on a break of that level we could see also a break below the 21-day EMA. So something for you to keep in mind. Now jumping into Hong Kong's Hang Seng index, and here you can see that this downside line, which I kept talking about a lot, guys, it has kind of held the price from moving higher once again, and yep, we're seeing this strong decline here. However, we're still above some of these key support levels that I talked about previously, one of which of course is this 26,256 territory marked by the low of the 7th of December. If that gets broken, of course we'll keep an eye on the other low here, the lowest point of this week near the 26,127 territory. But again, like I said, don't get me wrong, there's a bunch of good levels to good support levels to keep in mind and keep an eye on, but let's keep it short and simple for now. Basically what I'm going to do here is, if we get a drop below the 26,322 territory here, yes, I'll start looking at my next target, the 26,256 mark, and if that gets broken, then I'll aim for the lowest point of this week. But again, that's something probably more for next week. So yeah, let's see how this is going to play out. Let's keep it short and simple. Let's keep it. Let's be very careful on this one. Of course, some of you might also say that maybe we're actually forming something like this as well here. So a potential kind of falling channel. Well, I mean, we could keep this in mind, of course, don't get me wrong, but still, nevertheless, if you want to aim for some lower areas, we still need to look at these levels right here, guys. So let's be very careful on that one. The German DAX, so closed nicely in the positive territory yesterday, although we saw a bit of a decline here, but nevertheless it's still okay. We closed near the 13,667 territory, and if we take a look at the cash index and where we're currently sitting at, we'll see that we are slightly below yesterday's close. So well, I mean, let's see of course how all this is going to play out. For now I'm still kind of aiming for that 13,795 territory. That's, by the way, the highest point, the current highest point of this year. It will be quite interesting to see if we can actually establish a new high for this year, but let's be very careful. Let's go step by step on this one, guys. And if you want to look at some higher levels, for example, for today, then probably the safer bet would be just to wait for a push above yesterday's high, which is around the 13,728 zone, 25 zone, and then aim for that higher, highest point of this year, the current highest point of this year, of course. That's how you could kind of play it out, but again, you'll be the judge, guys, for yourselves. I like to play it safe, so a nice good pop above yesterday's high will confirm a forthcoming higher high here, and more buyers could join in. So yep, keep that in mind. In terms of the downside, well, I would like to see this one now dropping below the 13,460 territory, which previously basically I was looking at as a good area of resistance. Now it could take the role of a good support, so something for you to keep in mind. Now DXY, and look at this nice little reversal here to the upside. However, although we're seeing a bit of a reversal here to the upside, still it's below this 89.96 level that I talked about a lot this week. And what the main kind of idea, which I was saying that mentioning that if we see the daily candle remaining below this 89.96 territory, then yeah, there is a chance for this one to drift further south. However, looking at this picture right now, you can see that yep. We are kind of, let's say, stuck near this level. Now, I mean, it could be quite interesting to see if this area actually continues to provide resistance. If it doesn't, and we see a push back up here, yes, of course, don't get me wrong, this increases the chances for a bit of a further move higher. However, don't forget about this downside line taken from the high of the 4th of November, which could still provide resistance. However, if that gets broken, now that's where it could become a little bit more interesting for more buyers. So something for you to keep in mind, guys, something to keep an eye on, yes. But at the moment, I'm still bearish. We are still trading below this downside line, below this 89.96 territory. So yeah, be very careful with that, guys. And we are today is the last kind of trading day of this week, so again, some surprises might happen, so be very careful in that one. In terms of actually economic data today, we did get already the Bank of Japan monetary policy statement. We also got the UK core retail, not only core, but general core and headline retail sales. The German IFO Business Climate Index is also coming out. Basically, we do have a bunch of data here coming out from Europe, and also I think if let me just double check. Yes, we do have the Canadian retail sales as well coming out, so something to keep in mind. And of course, and no, that's it kind of from all the big numbers here. So yep, the main kind of focus is falling on European markets. So right now, like I said, looking at DXY, there is a chance for this one to climb higher. However, I'm keeping a close eye on this 89.96 level, because if it continues to provide resistance, then, well, I mean, another slide lower could be possible. Now jumping into gold, and gold managed to stay above this 1875 territory. So yep, this is what I talked about yesterday, and look at this move yesterday. Basically, we almost managed to reach that 1899 level marked by the high of the 16th of November, but it fell shy just a few points from reaching that, and yep, it started reversing back down. Today we're seeing a bit of a corrective move here lower, which is all fine as long as the price stays above this 1875 territory. So basically the new idea will be something like this. Given that we're seeing already a bit of a corrective move here lower, yes, that's all fine, that's all nice and healthy, but if, like, yeah, if this area, this 1875 territory, continues to provide somehow support, then we could see a nice rebound and a push higher. But if it breaks, yes, there still could be a possibility for a move higher, because we would still be above all of our EMAs here on the daily chart. However, I will take a bit of a careful approach in this little area right here. But if it starts falling somewhere below this 1849 territory, I've talked a lot about this level previously, now that's where it could become a little bit more ugly for more bulls, as more sellers could start joining in here. But again, all eyes today are on this 1875 zone. If it provides good support, then a nice rebound here could be possible. Now silver. Silver got a hold up near the fantastic, beautiful technical hold up near this 26 mark. I've talked about this level this week, guys, and if you remember, that was my main target, and where I was saying that I'll hold here and I'll wait for the next move. So, well, I mean, that couldn't work out even better. So I mean, it worked out fantastically. It traveled higher. We pushed above this 24.86 level. I've talked about this as well, because I was saying that if we get a nice pop above this, then yep, my next target is the 26 level. So we managed to reach that. Now the big question here is what we will do next. Of course, if we do see a further move higher and a push above this 26 territory, and we see the kind of the daily candle staying above this area, then yes, we'll start looking at some higher levels again. We will aim for the high of the 15th of September here near the 27.62 territory, or we could go a little bit higher here near the 28.90 level, which is marked by the highest point of September. But again, let's keep it short and simple, guys. For now, I mean, even if it decides to correct a little bit more to the downside here, well, what we could draw here is a potential upside, short-term tentative upside support line taken from the low of the 30th of November. So in a way, if this upside line continues to provide support, or let's say if this area here, this previously seen as a good resistance area, now will be seen as a good support. If it does that, then well, a nice rebound here could be possible. So keep that in mind. If this upside line gets broken, then I'll start looking at some lower areas. Now, WTI oil, beautiful move yesterday to that highest point of March. It just fell shy of a few points from reaching it, but to be honest, I'll take that. It's a good achievement, good result here. So, yep. Now the big question here is, can we see a bit of a corrective move lower? Now, if you remember yesterday, I talked about this idea that if the 48.64 territory, somewhere around here, continues somehow to provide resistance, then yes, we may see a bit of a correction here to the downside towards this upside line taken from the low of the 2nd of December. For now, we'll be very careful, guys. If this upside line gets broken and the price drops below the 46.24 territory right here, then yes, lower levels could be met. But at the moment, yes, I'm considering a bit of a maybe corrective move lower, but I'll keep an eye on this upside line, because this upside line could still do the trick here and provide support. However, if the index decides to, the commodity decides to push further north, then yes, I'm still keeping an eye on this 48.64 territory, which is the highest point of March. A nice good pop above it will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and the next target is the low here, the low of the let's put it this way, the 4th, 5th, 10th and 11th of February. So that's the previously seen as a good area of support. Now it could take the role of resistance. So, but that's only on the break of the 48.64 level. Now Bitcoin, the biggest kind of spotlight here took Bitcoin took that. Right, if you remember, guys, and the beginning of this week, or somewhere midweek, I was talking about this idea here, and let me just jump into a monthly chart. So basically, I was saying that my next target is somewhere near this 100% extension here on the Fibonacci, which is around the 23 territory. Although we yesterday had a bit of a overshoot, we still ended up being somewhere near that 23,000 zone. So everything is working out nicely for now. We still have around half a month left, because what I want to see here is how all this is going to play out. Because if we're going to be having a repetition of the this 2017 end of 2017, the beginning of 2018 scenario, then well, guess what? We could see in January, we could see a strong slide lower here. But again, at the moment, I cannot really talk about the downside until we get that. However, looking at this picture, we can see that the 23,000 worked out perfectly. So I doubt that we could travel all the way here towards that 161.8% extension on the Fibonacci. That's a bit of a 35,000 move here. I mean, of course, could be a possibility. However, maybe for next year. But let's see how this is going to play out. I mean, for now, guys, I mean, yes, we had already a decent rally, so maybe we'll get a bit of a correction lower if if the 23,000 territory continues to provide decent resistance, guys. So keep that in mind, and I'll pick up on this again, and we'll see what we can actually squeeze out of this. But now the idea to the downside is quite interesting. However, guys, don't rush into anything yet, because first of all, if it continues to rally, then I mean we got it wrong basically. So that happens, of course. But basically, my aim right now is to see if we're gonna get something like we had here in the end of 2017 and the beginning of 2018, and will we actually get a nice reversal here in January. But again, we cannot really talk about the downside yet, guys. We have not received any clear indication of that, so that's why be very careful, because looking at this even daily chart, yes, this level here is providing good resistance. However, we need a confirmation, a reversal still. So wait for that one. Bitcoin Cash, here it's a little bit more positive atmosphere, I would say, because look at this picture here. I mean, you can see that Bitcoin Cash is pushing higher. However, it's struggling with this 322 territory marked by the high of the 30th of November. So of course, it also got held by this December 1st high. Yesterday we had an overshoot here, but as you can see, yep, we're still trading below this 322 territory. So in a way, we cannot really talk about the further upside yet until we get a nice good daily candle remaining above this 322 territory, because again, we don't want to get another false breakout here and yep, get caught out on that one. For now, let's be very careful. Yes, we did have already a decent up move in the short run, especially here. So yes, it could continue higher, but just like I said, let's be on the safe side and wait for that daily candle to stay above the 322 territory. Now jumping into a few pairs here, and quickly AUD CAD. So I've mentioned this one yesterday. 0.9696 level is providing decent resistance right now, although yesterday we did get a bit of an overshoot, but nevertheless it still provides good resistance. Today, for example, this highest point of July is something to watch right now, because although we had a bit of an overshoot yesterday, so you can see the daily candle failed to remain above it. Today we also got another overshoot, but the daily candle so far is failing to stay above it. However, we still have a full day to trade, guys. So let's see how this is going to play out. And of course, keep your eyes on the Canadian retail sales figures. If the Canadian retail sales figures come out much better than the forecasts, well, I mean, we could see the Canadian dollar strengthening here, and yep, this pair drifting lower. However, if they come out on the weaker side, then maybe we could see a nice push, a further push north here. So something for you to keep in mind for today. USD JPY. So beautiful move here. Now again, this week everything worked out nicely. And this week I was talking about this 103.65 territory. If that gets broken, then my next target is the 103.18 or even the 103.05 level, which we've managed to reach both. So that's great news, guys. I mean, good. I mean, success. Now the big question here is, can we actually drift further south? Of course, given that we are seeing a strong rebound right now, well, I'll take a bit of a careful approach, because even for me to, let's say, to consider the upside, now previously I talked about this 103.65 territory, but now, given that the 21-day EMA is somehow the line to watch right now, I'm gonna stick to it, to be honest, because although yes, we had these overshoots here, but look at this. I mean, the daily candle kept staying below this here only on the 2nd of December. We had just a fractional kind of close, but to be honest, I think we will consider that as just basically ending the day bang on the line. So still, basically, we didn't get a decent stay above the 21-day EMA. But so that's what I'm going to do for now. I'm going to stick to this 21-day EMA on our daily chart. If we see that daily candle pushing strongly above it, yes, good news. I'll aim for slightly higher levels. Not much, but just slightly higher levels. But for now, guys, I mean, what could happen? It could travel a little bit higher, test the 103.65 territory, and if it provides resistance, we could see another slide. So something to keep in mind, something to consider. So that's the little idea that I'm gonna keep in my head for the time being. USD CHF, so another little problem, I would say, because the pair is struggling still with this 0.8845 territory. Although we keep getting these overshoots, we're not really getting that daily candle staying below it. So I mean, like at the moment, that's what it's gonna. I mean, I'm gonna stick to this idea. I'm gonna wait for the daily candle to drop below this and stay well below this whole support area here near the 0.8845 40 area, approximately around here, guys. If we do see that, yes, further declines are possible, but if we don't, I'm gonna take a neutral stand, and for me, even for the upside, I would prefer to wait for a push above the 0.8910 territory, roughly around here, and then kind of aim for some higher levels. But at the moment, I'm not really getting that either. So I'm neutral. I'm neutral, guys, because although it is kind of leaning a little bit more towards the downside, but however, I mean, we can see that it's struggling with this whole area, so that's why I'm not really touching it, and probably I'm gonna leave this pair for today, and I'll pick up on it tomorrow just to see, oh, not tomorrow, sorry, on Monday, just to see how everything kind of developed. But yeah. At the moment, guys, it's a bit too tricky. GBP Aussie, quick update. You can I've mentioned this pair recently, basically, and what I was saying that this 1.7830, or actually 1.7840 territory, which previously acted as a good area of resistance and support, now it's taking the role of resistance as well. Although we kept getting overshoots here this week, but you can see that the rate still remains, the daily candle still remains below it. So if you want to aim for some higher levels, wait for a nice good pop above it, and we see. Wait for that daily candle to stay above this hurdle, and then yes, we could push for some higher levels. But at the moment, it's a bit of a tricky one, I would say, this whole pair. Yes, I'm maybe leaning a little bit more towards the upside, but I'm gonna aim for now only for this 21-day EMA, which is roughly around the 1.7937 territory, and then I'll take it from there. For the downside, if you want to look at some lower levels, well, keep your eyes on this little hurdle right here, not far from yesterday and Wednesday's lows. It's also near the high of Monday. So this 1.7765 territory could be a nice area to watch if you want to look at some lower areas, lower levels. GBP USD, so we managed to stay nicely above this 1.35 40 territory. I talked about this, guys. This is basically was the highest point of December, previous highest point of December, we can say now, and we stayed above it, and today we're seeing a bit of a corrective move here to the downside. However, if it continues to balance above this hurdle, yes, I'll aim for some higher levels. But if it doesn't, and if it starts falling back below the 1.3483 territory right here, that's where I'm going to consider maybe a bit of a larger correction to the downside. But again, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the upside for now. And my next target is, of course, not to mention the highest point of this week, the current highest point of this week, but also I'll keep an eye on this lowest point of March of 2018, guys, and that's roughly around the 1.3712 zone, and the current highest point of this week is around the 1.3625 level, so keep that in mind. And finally, EURUSD. So quick update here, beautiful move higher. We stayed nicely above this 1.2215 territory. As I said before, my next target is the 1.23 zone, so let's see how that's going to play out. If you want to look at historic data here, we can see that this 1.23 territory was the inside swing low of the 12th of April of 2018, guys. So the inside swing low of the 12th of April of 2018, that's what I'm going to keep in mind right now. So like I said, the nice beautiful 1.23 territory could be a good area of resistance. If we do reach that, I'll take it from there, guys, and I'll see what it wants to do further. If it wants to push further north, okay, great, good news for the buyers. But still, don't get me wrong, I mean, at some point we will get that little correction, but it seems that there is a good chance to reach that 1.23 zone, maybe even today. But again, let's see if we get a nice reversal here to the upside. And if you want to play it safe, for example, what you could do, keep an eye on yesterday's high near the 1.2273 territory. A nice good pop above it will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and higher levels could be met. So that's it for today, guys. Not for actually for today. for this morning, because we still have my traders tea time at 14:15 GMT. If you want to join that, guys, I'll pick up on some of these instruments, some new ones maybe, just to see kind of how everything's getting along before the market close, or actually before the European market close, but it'll be before the US market opens. Like I said, let's pick up on my traders tea time today, later on, 14:15 GMT. But I hope you have a fantastic trading day, guys. Stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.